Gas prices surging, auto dealers are seeing increased demand for electric vehicles. But the problem is developing and producing the infrastructure necessary to charge these vehicles. Joining us now is Brendan Jones, president of Blink Charging. Stock down 10% today, even after reporting results last night that were far better than last year. While they did see strong sales in the last quarter, they did post a wider than expected loss, however. Mr. Jones, welcome. Good to have you with us.
Good afternoon. It's great to be on.
Your revenues are growing very quickly. How many of your charging stations are you installing month by month compared with last year? Or give me some comparison.
Sure, absolutely. So if we look at the quarter, and as you stated, the quarter was up. It was a great performance. We were 224% up over prior year, and then 24% sequentially up over the prior quarter. And that prior quarter was a record breaker for the company. So as we continue to see momentum build for EV vehicles and EV infrastructure, we continue to perform as well. From a number basis, what we did is we sold or contracted to install 3,733 charging stations during Q4. So that number continues to increase as well. So there's a direct correlation here to the automotive companies introducing brand new EVs, and then an effect directly to the EV infrastructure companies and the need for both L2 infrastructure and DC fast charger infrastructure to be installed around the United States in various different communities.
So where are most of your chargers installed? In what kinds of locations? And how is the service priced?
So we install mostly in publicly accessible areas where drivers go. So typically you'll see some at grocery stores, healthcare facilities, parking garages in and around metro areas. And then we'll do DC fast chargers on the corridors and highways where you need a quick fill. And we're priced competitively versus the competition, versus on a kilowatt basis. And we charge mostly on a kilowatt basis. So for a percent of time on the charger, you get X amount of kilowatts, and you get a price per kilowatt to each consumer, which varies by market.
So the fast charge can fill my, quote, tank how quickly?
So it depends on your vehicle.
Yeah.
But let's say if you buy a Porsche Taycan, which on some of the highways there's 350 kilowatt chargers, you're going to charge that entire tank pretty quick in under 10 minutes.
In under 10 minutes. So that would be the amount of time that it might take me to go into a quick check, grab a coffee, and come back out, and I'd be all charged up.
Absolutely.
What about the use of home electricity to charge vehicles? How much? I can't imagine that most people who buy an electric vehicle don't do a lot of their charging right out of their own home.
Well, it's a great question. You're absolutely correct. And the market is really broken up into two different segments. You have the fleet aspect, which takes a different type of charging. And then you have the personal vehicle, which you're referring to. And a lot of people are going to have in-home or in multifamily dwelling type charging. And L2 charging is the best for that. And that's where the overwhelming majority of your charging is going to take place at a lower rate, because it's based off your price you're paying for energy within your facility and very economically viable. However, in order to have this EV revolution, we do need convenience-based charging for fast fill-ups throughout the highways and in strategic locations throughout the metros.
And I assume that most of the electric vehicles that are marketed today, whether it's a Tesla or a Kia or whatever it is, they would have in their computers directions to the nearest charging station, no matter whose brand it happens to be. I know Tesla has their own Tesla charging facilities. Let me ask you this question, which has been bothering me for a while. If there is a huge turn to electric vehicles, which I'm telling you, Brendan, I think this weekend more EVs will be sold than any weekend in American history. That being said, if we turn massively to electric vehicles, does the country have the electric power generation capacity to create all of the power that will be needed to power these vehicles? And what will happen to electric rates?
So the first answer to the question is, remember, there's two different versions of the grid. So in terms of the production side of the grid, the energy producers, who are different sometimes in the utilities, they have enough capacity to power electric vehicles, even at a 30, 40, and 50% pen rate. But on the distribution end, we have to make sure that we restructure utilities to ensure that they have that power at a fair dollar level within their market, so that they don't run out. Now, those plans are in effect. The infrastructure bill is addressing both utility and infrastructure concerns simultaneously. But the U.S., the great thing about this country is we have the solutions to that. And look at this potential shift. So we see the issues in the Ukraine, and we're looking at this, and the U.S. is at the precipice of another decision we can make. We can truly create energy independence. And that energy independence means more U.S. jobs, more U.S. high-tech jobs, more U.S. jobs in value-added industries such as producing, installing, and maintain EV infrastructure.